Daddy gave her her first pony, then taught her to ride. She climbed high in that saddle, fell I don't know how many times.
Learning how to ride a horse is a challenge. It takes time and patience just as riding does. There's a long process in learning how to ride a horse and take care of such a beautiful animal. But if you know the basics, you can get by. As I started my classes for learning how to ride, I seemed to follow the same path that I followed when I began riding horses 10 years ago. I took lessons from a woman that knew exactly what she was talking about, just as my teacher for English 1101. Throughout English 1101, I learned that the composition process was a lot like learning how to ride a horse. I had to learn the basics, like grammar and the rules of riding. I had to memorize courses, similar to maintaining coherent organization in each essay, and I had to learn how to balance, same as balancing conclusion with introduction or claims with evidence. In both instances, I realized that there was much to learn and many obstacles that I would have to overcome. The first day that I began riding horses, I learned that you must get to know the horse's personality in order to feel a safer connection. Just as in riding horses, it is vital to get to know an author of a work you are reading. My biography shows my readers the type of person I am and also how friendly I can be. This is a clip from my biography, The Way I Am. I wanted them to know that I was the kind of friend that would have their back no matter what, and I would always help them if they were in need. In a piece as big as a portfolio, there needs to be something fully devoted to trying to gain your audience's trust, which is exactly what I think my biography does. Pictures in my biography show my genuine excitement for others achieving great things, which portrays my personality in a great manner to my readers. Here is another excerpt from my biography, The Way I Am. Then Miss Westside was crowned, and I happened to be standing right beside her, holding her hand, when they called out Dusty Johnson. I screamed louder than she did, and I might have actually scared a couple people. Not only did my biography help me feel a connection to the people that I was writing for, but it helped me understand how important audience awareness really is. After I had been riding for a couple years, I owned my own horse and we connected on a higher level than I could have ever imagined. There was one day that I was not fully thinking about my riding or my horse, and I had my thoughts somewhere else. I was not concentrating on being one with my horse, and after I jumped, he went one way and I went another. I fell to the ground and hit hard. It was a painful lesson, but I knew how important it was to form that connection. This connection is just as important in writing. The readers need to feel that they know you on a whole new level, a level that forms trust and strengthens credibility. I failed to do this in my image analysis, Modest Murder. While viewing an image from the TV show Dexter, I only saw the elements I first noticed. I took my initial thoughts and ran with them, not considering that the readers might see something different. I used dialogue to start my essay and tried to show readers that I personally thought certain characters were related. "I cannot believe that she's actually dead," said the blonde to the man in the jeans. He replied, "Don't worry. They will find out who did this, and he will pay. Your sister will not die in vain." I was referring to the two characters in the background and how I believed they related to a dead girl in the image. I realized after grading how important the hook really is and how establishing that initial connection can make or break an essay. Once I learned the basics, such as balance, feet positioning, and posture, I was ready for different paces. I learned how to walk, trot, and canter, and learning how to transition between them is vital for learning the logistics of horseback riding. Just as learning logic for riding transitions, I needed to learn logic in my writing. The logic of my rhetorical analysis, Logical Destruction, was awful. That essay had absolutely no organization, which I paid for in my grade. I learned through that process how important it is to keep your essay organized, just as it is vital to keep your transitions steady when riding a horse. If you fail to do these things in either stance, it will cause your final outcome to be less than you had hoped for, such as a grade or a placing. A blue ribbon is a perfect way to support the statement, "I am a good rider." Without having evidence to support someone's riding superiority, there's no way that anyone will believe them. I lost this knowledge when writing my first essay, Modest Murder. I did not support my claims with solid evidence, which weakened my coherence. I had full paragraphs that consisted completely of claims and thoughts, but contained no evidence whatsoever. This knife, this friend, gives Dexter the thrill that nothing else can. Is one instance where I failed to support my claims. I decided that in my mind, Dexter loved his knife more than a normal person would, and since I felt this so strongly, I did not feel the need to show why this was true. I learned that I need to find a happy medium between my claims and my support, and that they need to balance each other out. Riding horses should consist of an almost equal amount of flat work and warming up as there is intense jumping or cross country. While peer reviewing Raquel James's paper, Discovery Through Analysis, I realized that she had the complete opposite problem that I had had in my first essay. James seemed to have evidence upon evidence and barely made any claims at all. This caused me to realize that there is more to writing than supporting what you believe with solid evidence. There is a need to have a medium between what you want heard and how you are going to back it up. While reviewing her essay, I learned how important it is to develop support throughout each paragraph. That is also true when balancing your essay's introduction with its conclusion. The most important part of showing a horse in a jumping competition is memorization of the course and making sure that you follow the path all the way until the end. Just as jumping a horse, a paper needs to follow the thesis and the so what that was set out in the beginning. An essay or a course in a show needs to finish just as strongly as it was started. My portfolio is being closed with a narrative about my hometown. It gives the reader just as much of an insight into who I am as my introductory biography did. There will be a bond between my audience and myself from beginning to end by establishing another personal experience with my readers. My wild card also is extremely relatable since there are many people that grow up in small towns. When going through the writing process, it is necessary to think about every single detail to have the outcome that is hoped for. English 1101 was the starting point of my writing career, just as lessons as Canterbury Tales at age 9 was the start of my writing career. I have learned through both experiences that it is important to have a connection that is hard to break, consistency at all times, and the ability to know there is more to learn. If when riding a horse I forget to concentrate on all the things I've learned, I will either fall or not receive a placing that I know I could have, and writing works the same way. English 1101 at the University of Georgia has taught me to realize the little things and feel the same connection to my readers that I feel to my loving horse Amir. There can be no successful day with my horse without considering all the things I've learned while riding, and write no successful paper without considering all the things that English 1101 has taught me. Although I am not completely to the point that I would like to be with my writing, I know that because of the things I learned this year, I can only grow. I wish that I could have written about how well I overcame bad transitions, but I still struggle with them, which causes talking about my growth to be a bit lacking. When riding Amir, it is always a learning process, even though I've had him for over 6 years. Riding to me works in the same way. I am always learning and always growing.